Good morning, everyone. And good morning, Ambassador Nides. Thanks for joining me on stage here.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. And I know it's been said before, and I know we've had a lot of thank yous, but... Oh, one last thing. I think...
Well, that makes it all so much different.
Let's turn around. Yeah. There you go.
Thank God.
It's the details that count. We've had a lot of thank yous today, and we really already want to get to the main event, which is the startups. But I want to personally thank Corinne. Corinne, where are you? When she brought this up, I was like, this is crazy. Miami, I've never been to Miami. It's my first time. I was like, how is this relevant? And I am bowled over. I am shocked, and I am impressed, and this is an amazing vision. And thank you also for inviting Ambassador Nides to have this conversation with me today. So how are you feeling today?
Great. To be clear, the only reason I am here, well, actually two reasons. One is because I love Israel, okay? I love Israel. I love the Israeli people. I love the entrepreneurship. I believe in Israel. And Corinne basically wouldn't let me say no. I tried to say no about 12 times, and I found myself on an airplane last night coming here because she asked me. And by the way, when she talks about her conference in Israel, it's one hell of a conference. So I would encourage all of you who have never been to this. It is a show beyond shows. She is the queen of the show, but it's every important person in the state of Israel is in that auditorium.
Absolutely.
And I was honored to participate, and you all should go and be part of it.
Yeah. So before we get started, I'll just give a couple of words of perspective from Amazon Web Services, because people ask me, what's Amazon doing at an event like this, And I think AWS, the cloud business of Amazon, is very, very much committed to Israel. We have a very close relationship with the government of Israel and the Nimbus contract, but also to healthcare and life sciences. And I think what sort of joins us all in this room is a sense of mission and purpose that is, of course, about the Israeli economy and startups and the opportunity to tie up with Florida and the United States. But I think there is even a higher purpose. Because when we're engaged with healthcare and life science innovation, and that's a startup founder here, or a doctor, or a hospital, or an industry organization, or a law firm, or an investor, we all have one job to get done. Just one. And that job is to shorten the time to clinical value. That's what we're doing. So if we can use some of the technologies in this room and some of the partnerships and develop a new drug in 3 years instead of 10 years, that's 7 years of people with a diagnosis that may have some hope. Now, if that's a rare disease, which is underinvested in, and it's your child that has a rare disease, you don't care that it's called rare or orphan or whatever it's called. You want a solution. And that's the opportunity we have, and that's why I am super passionate about what everyone in this room is doing. But Ambassador Nides, I want to maybe start with a bit more, before we get down to the sort of specifics around healthcare and life science innovation, let's talk a bit macroeconomy and your perspective as a former ambassador and now sitting as the vice chairman of Blackstone. How do you see the macroeconomy in Israel today, and especially considering both the geopolitical challenges but also the major technology advances and opportunities?
Well, let me just first by saying, for those of you who pick up the newspaper and watch the news, we've got to bring these hostages home. And we've got to bring them home now.
100%.
And as someone who talks to the hostage families every day, it's really, really important as Israel moves forward, which they got to move forward after we bring these hostages home. So my hope is we don't lose sight of that, as those of us who are entrepreneurs and business people that are in this room. Every day there are Israeli and American families whose kids and brothers and sisters are sitting underneath the ground, and we've got to do what we need to do to get them home. I am exceptionally bullish on Israel. I say that not only as the former ambassador and a former vice chairman of Morgan Stanley and now the vice chairman of Blackstone. I have never been as bullish on Israel than I am today. And there's a bunch of reasons for that. One is the security situation in Israel, as dire as it was post the October 7th, has probably never been as good a shape as it is today. I have plenty of differences with some of the actions of some of the government in Israel, but make no mistake, between the United States and Israel, they have made Israel a safer place for the citizens of Israel and to do business in Israel. They have diminished the threat of Hamas. They've basically dismantled Hezbollah. They've destroyed much of the Houthis, and yes, they have dramatically reduced the influence of Iran. And that calms the region down, setting up the possibility of the Saudi normalization. And that will happen in 2025, 26. You will get a Saudi normalization with the state of Israel. So I am telling you, I have never been as bullish on the economy of the state of Israel as I am today. And then the numbers actually prove my thesis. In the third quarter of this year, of 2024, growth in Israel was about 3.5%. I haven't seen the numbers yet in the fourth quarter, but I'm seeing the head of the Bank of Israel when I'm in Israel in a couple weeks. I feel confident that the growth will continue, and going into 2025, how much there'll be dramatic growth, there will be growth in 2025. And if you told me that that would happen, I would tell you you're nuts.
Crazy.
Okay? So now think about this. The tech sector itself raised $8 billion in 2024. Okay? $17 billion of M&A. And we at Blackstone bought a company called Priority Software for, let's call it around an $800 million valuation, one of the biggest deals in Israel last year. So we are putting our money where our mouth is, okay? And I will tell you something, everyone in this room who's thinking about the investment, those who are the startups that you're talking to, again, as a business guy and a political guy and a kind of sense of what's going on, between the security and the grit of Israel, the grit of the entrepreneurs. Everyone asks me in every meeting I go to is, what makes Israel Israel? It's all about the entrepreneurship, but it starts at the military. I say that because everyone is even in Israel, okay? Everyone wakes up, except some of the Haredis, but everyone wakes up and is a soldier in the state of Israel. Everyone is fighting for the country, and that creates a sense of unity and equalization and entrepreneurship and risk-taking. So again, as someone who spent a lot of time there as the American ambassador, as a business leader, I am as bullish as I've ever been on Israel and the ability to see what's going to happen here over the next couple of years. So congratulations to all of you who are investing. And I'm all in.
I can back that up. I have a daughter who's a tank commander.
And by the way, just reckon, you are too cool for me. You got the hat and the earrings. I got to get the show. I am going to be cooler next time. I feel a little bit out of place here, but that's why AWS is so cool, but in successful. Just saying.
We could think of like a little Netflix show, like there's that, Queer Eye for the Straight Guy, you know what I mean? All of that, we could do something. We could go shopping.
Even the socks are cool.
There you go. Right. The socks actually have a story, a healthcare story. Anyway, I just want to back you up on something you said about resilience and grit. My daughter is a tank commander in the Israeli army, and she was telling me, thank you, and she was telling me that there are people on reserve duty that she serves with that are working on their startups in the middle of the whole situation where they're in conflict. And so business goes on, and if you're an investor, that's the kind of CEO you want, that they're going to be...
Can I tell us I know this is not about you, but it's not about me either, but how did your daughter become a tank commander in Israel?
Oh, I lived in Israel for 25 years. I only just relocated to Amsterdam about a year ago. But
okay, so your kids stayed in Israel.
Yeah, my kids are in Israel.
Okay, this is what it's about. Here's a guy who runs one of the biggest, most important businesses of Amazon, and his kid is a tank commander.
A female
Israel.
tanker. A female tanker owner. One of
I
the
mean,
first.
how cool is that? This is what I'm talking about grit. So I'm like, this is Israel. What other country in the world you can sit here and have a senior executive of the most important companies in the world, and their kid is sitting in a tank protecting the state of Israel? So you're it.
Thank
okay,
you so much.
You're it.
But I brought it up really not to talk about myself and
I know, but I decided to do it anyway. Sorry.
But, yeah, thank you so much. But I want to, for the investors in this room, and you said it, we've seen after periods of conflict in Israel, the opportunity and the growth in the ecosystem is like there's this major push and major. Can you maybe give your perspective on why now to invest in Israel? More specifically, like
why?
And
invest?
specifically, if you've got any insights on healthcare investing.
Okay, so let me just, and this is not an advertisement on Blackstone, but I am the vice chairman, so I'll do it anyway.
Yeah,
Obviously, we don't make investments for social purposes. Okay, I mean, we try to make investments that are right and they're ethical and they're the right investments, but we have shareholders and we have investors. And so when we made a decision to make one of the most significant investments in the calendar year of 2025 or 24 in the state of Israel on Priority Software, we made a decision. In this business that we invested in, all of the clients of Priority Software are Israel companies. It's a B2C company. It's a software company basically for businesses and restaurants. It's the platform that helps doing the accounting services for Israel. This is not an international company. So we made a decision and paid a very hefty price because we believe in the ecosystem in Israel and the business in Israel, the consumers in Israel, the people who are actually feeling good about their abilities. So our thought process was Israel is an investable place, even at a very complicated time. Healthcare. Blackstone, as you may know, for those of you that we have Blackstone Life Sciences. It's a fund. Our fund is a $10 billion fund. We just basically closed the fund, the last round. We've raised since the life of this fund about $10 billion. One of the things that we do, because we so believe in healthcare and drugs and the idea of the business side of healthcare, we basically have spent a big part of that money on phase 3 trials. So part of the life science fund is we step into the largest drug companies, including Teva, by the way, at the phase 3, and we invest in the phase 3 side by side with the pharmaceutical company. And obviously we were making a bet that from phase 3 to market is an unbelievably profitable place to be. And we have done that on not only pharmaceuticals very successfully, but also on devices. Mm-hmm. And so our healthcare business has become an enormous part. And then, as you all know in this room, it's not just the investment in the drugs and the devices, it's all the real estate. We are an enormous investor in medical university sites, and where we do big platforms for innovation and distribution, and we have that and all of the logistics around that. So our whole view of healthcare, it is the future. It's a future with AI and technology and real estate and investing. So we're, as we like to say, obviously we're bigger than most of the people here, but our thesis is no different than your thesis. Our thesis is the future is healthcare, the future is AI with healthcare. And I should point out, we're also the single world's largest developer of data centers. We own a company called QTS in America, in North America, and we just bought a company called AirTrunk in Asia. So we now have a large combination of investments in data centers to play into the AI, to play into healthcare, to play into our international investments and domestic investments.
Yeah, I mean, things.
And by the way, these guys are huge partners of us. Amazon is a huge superscaler, as you know, in data centers. You're a huge client of ours. We work together collectively, as you know. Yeah. So we're sort of all in this together.
And listen, look, I want to get your perspective as someone who really understands Israel well, but also understands doing business in the United States. There are, I think, 18 CEOs here at various levels. I think we'll hear from some very advanced unicorn-level CEOs very soon, but also ones getting started. What are some of your tips to these CEOs? How can they be successful in the US market?
Listen, guys, it's all about the numbers. We're not chasing dreams here. This isn't like, oh my God, great, you're a nice Jewish kid from Israel and you're coming in and sitting around and trying to sell us something. You know, you're a sophisticated bunch of people. You have an advantage because you walk into the marketplace believing that you are the startup nation. You immediately have cred with investors in America when you say you're an Israeli and you're a tech entrepreneur or a healthcare entrepreneur. You have this cachet, this kind of glow. You know, some of it's real, some of it's not, but there, as you know, it is exceptionally, and to play into that can get you into the door. Most Israeli entrepreneurs can get into any door they want. First of all, you're a bunch of Jews, and anyone can get, you know, that's, you have the chutzpah like Karin has, you know, can get us into this, right? It's really important. And then it's about selling not only the dream, but selling the technology and selling the ambition. And I'm telling you, I get pitched all the time. Mm-hmm. I'm on a board of a bunch of Israeli companies. I happen to like it, but you cannot, you know, the Sheba Hospital guys, is someone here from Sheba? So I spent a lot of time with Christ, who runs Sheba Hospital. Yeah. I mean, just the healthcare institutions in the state of Israel itself. I mean, as you know, Sheba has a great, I know there's other hospitals here too, I'm just making them. Hadassah, I spent a lot of time, I'm a hypochondriac, so I spent a lot of time as ambassador being treated at these hospitals. But the innovation that goes on in the Israeli hospitals themselves is cutting edge. You go to Sheba and their relationship with Mayo Clinic, every one of these Israeli hospitals have a sister or brother relationship with an American hospital. It's all cutting edge. So my view of this is being an Israeli entrepreneur can get you in the door. Your business plan has to get you the sale.
Okay, great. I think that's a great perspective, and I think we can wrap it up here. And Ambassador Nides, thank you so much for this conversation.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
Yeah. And next time I'm in New York, we should go shopping.
I could be so cool. Look at me. I have the potential. The puka shells are great, though. That's what's cool. All right, man. See you, man. Thanks very much.
Thank you so much.